Okay. Have you ever stopped to think about just how much duality can exist inside one person?
You mean like darkness and light coexisting?
Exactly. Profound darkness, but also maybe unexpected light. It's complex.
It is.
And today we're really diving deep into a story that embodies that complexity, maybe more than most. The case of Stephen Wayne Anderson.
Ah, yes. Anderson. His life story is, well, it's something else.
It really is. We've pulled together a lot of material, articles, research, notes, trying to understand a narrative that honestly challenges a lot of basic assumptions.
Assumptions about crime, definitely. Punishment, too.
And maybe even transformation. That's part of what makes it so compelling, I think.
Absolutely. It's fascinating in a disturbing way how one life can hold such extreme contrast.
Right.
So this deep dive, it's not just laying out the facts, it's really going to push us and you listening to think about what shapes a person.
How can a path be so destructive, but then also show moments of, well, creativity, unexpectedly?
And what does that tell us about, the human spirit itself? It raises big questions.
That's really our mission today.
Right.
We want to unpack the layers of Stephen Wayne Anderson's journey.
From a troubled kid.
Right, starting with a really rough youth, becoming a convicted serial killer, and then this is the twist ending up as a poet on death row.
It's a path that forces you to confront some uncomfortable truths about human nature. No easy answers here.
None at all. It's challenging, but important, I think, to look at these kinds of stories.
Definitely. We need to examine that progression or maybe, the tragic unraveling of his life.
Using the information we've gathered, looking for those patterns, those paradoxes.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start where it all began. Stephen Wayne Anderson, born July 8th, 1953, in Utah.
And right from the start, instability seems to be the theme.
Yeah, the sources paint a pretty bleak picture. Tumultuous household, alcoholic father, emotionally abusive mother.
That kind of early environment, it leaves marks,
Yeah,
deep ones.
no question. Those early factors are so often crucial, aren't they?
They really are. They lay a foundation, often a very complex, difficult one, lack of stability, lack of support. You see that thread so often in these kinds of cases.
It almost sets a trajectory.
It can. But what's really striking with Anderson, despite all that chaos,
The intelligence.
exactly, an estimated IQ of 136.
Which is what, top 2%?
Roughly, yeah. Very high intelligence. Which kind of throws you off, doesn't it? It doesn't fit the typical profile you might expect.
Not at all. And then things get worse at home. By 14, he and his brother are kicked out.
Expelled from home. Imagine being 14 and just out.
Leads to this transient life, bouncing between friends, relatives, just trying to survive, I guess.
So you have this really tough start, neglect, instability,
Mm-hmm.
but coupled with this incredibly high IQ.
It makes you pause, right?
Hmm.
How is that intelligence being used? Or maybe misused?
That's the key question, isn't it? How do those early environmental factors and someone's inherent abilities, like intelligence, actually interact, especially when the environment is so damaging?
Does one override the other, or do they combine in unexpected ways?
In Anderson's case, it seems his intelligence didn't act as a protective shield. Instead, it might have been channeled into, well, cunning, manipulation.
Facilitating his path into crime.
It seems likely. His first major run-in with the law wasn't minor. It was 1972, a murder conviction.
During a robbery, right?
Yes. He got a 10-year sentence for that.
10 years. But he didn't serve it all.
No, and this is critical. He was paroled early, served only a part of that sentence.
And that release, looking back, it feels like a huge turning point. A missed opportunity, maybe, for intervention.
Hindsight is always 20/20, but yes,
Yeah.
it suggests the system back then maybe didn't fully grasp the risk he posed.
Or the depth of his issues, because what came next? That was the crime that defined everything.
It absolutely was. It led to his final conviction and revealed an even darker, more chilling side.
Okay, let's shift to that. May 26, 1980. This is the murder of Elizabeth Lyman.
In Bloomington, California, an 81-year-old retired piano teacher.
Just a terribly vulnerable victim. The sources say Anderson had been drinking heavily that day.
And he thought the house was empty. Broke in, cut the phone line, found an unlocked door.
But she wasn't asleep, or she woke up. She confronted him.
And Anderson, he shot her in the face
Yeah.
with a .45 caliber handgun.
Yeah.
Killed her instantly.
Just brutal. And the aftermath, this is the part that always gets
The
me.
details are profoundly unsettling, aren't they? They really indicate something deeply wrong psychologically.
He ransacked her home, looking for valuables, presumably, but then He goes into her kitchen and makes himself a meal.
After committing murder.
Yes, sits there and eats. That level of detachment, casualness, it's almost impossible to process.
It really is. It speaks volumes about his state of mind. He was arrested just 3 hours later, still at the scene.
Still there. Wow.
Which suggests, perhaps, that chilling casualness or maybe just a complete lack of foresight or concern about consequences at that moment.
If we connect that back, like you said, it points to this profound psychological disconnect. A complete lack of empathy, maybe.
It strongly suggests that. The casualness, the sequence of actions. It challenges our basic understanding of how people react to violence, especially violence they've committed.
And this wasn't just a one-off horrific act, was it? After his arrest for Lyman's murder, other things started coming out.
Right. The floodgates opened, as you put it earlier. His confessions. They painted an even more terrifying picture.
He didn't just confess to killing Elizabeth Lyman,
No. He admitted to several other killings.
including contract killings,
Yes, at least 7 contract killings in Las Vegas. Murders for hire.
which implies calculation, planning, not just impulsive violence.
Exactly. A different kind of coldness.
Yeah.
And he also confessed to murdering a fellow inmate during a previous prison term.
So multiple lives taken. And the sources specifically mention his lack of remorse.
They emphasize that. The phrase used is something like a chilling picture of a man who had taken multiple lives without remorse.
That phrase, without remorse, it just hangs there, doesn't it? It underscores this cold, maybe even predatory nature.
It really does. This pattern of violence, combined with that apparent lack of remorse, it points to something deeply ingrained, psychologically, behaviorally.
Did the sources get into any psychological evaluations, any expert opinions trying to explain why someone so intelligent could be so empty of empathy?
The sources we reviewed focused more on the documented actions, the confessions, the legal proceedings. The why is often the hardest part to pin down definitively.
Sure.
But the consistency of that lack of remorse across multiple varied killings, robbery, contract killing, killing an inmate, that's a powerful indicator. It confronts us with the reality of individuals who operate outside the bounds of normal human connection and empathy.
So, unsurprisingly, he's convicted. 1981. First-degree murder for Elizabeth Lyman.
With special circumstances, yes. Burglary too. And the sentence was death.
But the legal process wasn't quite finished, was it? There was another trial.
A new sentencing trial, yes, in 1986. The issue was whether the original jury had been specifically asked to consider if the murder was intentional.
Ugh, the legal nuances. Malice aforethought. Crucial for that level of conviction and the death sentence.
Precisely. But even after that legal clarification, the second jury looked at the evidence again.
And came to the same conclusion.
They reaffirmed a death sentence.
And this is where the story takes that really unexpected, almost bizarre turn. He's on death row, San Quentin.
An environment you typically associate with, well, despair. Hardened individuals waiting for the end.
Not poetry readings.
Not typically, no.
Yeah.
But Anderson's behavior on death row, it became a subject of real interest. He showed a completely different side.
This confessed serial killer responsible for these awful acts starts writing poetry.
It's a jarring juxtaposition. It really is.
He got a nickname, didn't he?
The Bard of Death Row.
The Bard of Death Row. It completely challenges your expectations for someone in that situation. What were these writings like? Were they apologies, confessions?
The sources describe them as introspective and reflective, providing a stark contrast to the violent nature of his past. They explored themes you might expect from someone facing mortality isolation, the search for meaning, life in confinement.
But did they express remorse for the killings, that specific regret?
That's more nuanced. From the descriptions, it seems they were more focused on his internal state, his own existence, grappling with his reality, less about explicitly seeking forgiveness for his specific crimes.
So introspection, yes. Reflection, yes. But maybe not repentance in the way we might think of it.
Perhaps. It suggests a capacity for deep thought, for self-examination, even if it didn't translate into direct apologies for the harm he caused.
It's like a different kind of transformation, maybe? Not necessarily moral redemption, but an intellectual or emotional shift. Rechanneling that intelligence.
That's one way to look at it. Did these poems and writings get noticed outside the prison?
The sources suggest they did gain some attention. Literary circles, legal circles. It added another layer of complexity, of intrigue to his case.
It certainly adds that idea of the multifaceted nature of human beings that the sources mentioned.
Right.
It forces you to consider how these different aspects, the killer and the poet, can exist in the same person. even someone who committed such terrible acts.
What allows that creativity to surface in a place like death row? It's a profound question.
It really is. Maybe the forced solitude, facing his own end.
Confronting mortality head on, it could unlock something, I suppose. It definitely complicates any simple narrative of just pure evil.
Exactly. The why is elusive, but the fact that it happened, this capacity for expression right at the end, it's undeniable.
It reminds you that people are complex. Even in the most extreme situations, there might be this drive to create, to reflect.
A drive for meaning, perhaps.
So he spent over 2 decades on death row, and then the end came.
January 29, 2002. He was executed by lethal injection at San Quentin.
Pronounced dead at 12:30 a.m.
And the sources note this marked the end of the legal battles, brought closure to the case that had held public attention for so long.
Closure for the victims' families, for the legal system in one sense.
But as the sources also point out, it doesn't really answer those deep, lingering questions his life raised.
No, it leaves us, and you listening, grappling with these really tough ideas about crime, about punishment.
And about redemption. Is it possible? What does it even look like in a case like this?
So where does that leave us? We've followed this arc from that troubled kid.
To a remorseless killer.
And then, unexpectedly, this poet on death row. It's a unique, deeply disturbing journey.
And it forces the question, how do you reconcile these two sides, the killer and the creator, existing in one man?
The case really is a haunting reminder, isn't it, of the depths humans can sink to.
But also maybe the potential for change, or at least complexity,
Yep.
even in the absolute worst circumstances. It's a lot to sit with.
It challenges us to look past easy labels, doesn't it? To see the terrifying complexities of human nature itself.
It really does.
And there you have it, a deep dive into a life that, frankly, leaves you with more questions than answers.
Which is often the mark of a story worth examining.
Stephen Wayne Anderson's life, those extreme contrasts, it really pushes you to think about your own understanding of people, of justice.
That capacity for introspection, for creativity, that he showed right at the end. What does that tell us about the human spirit? That need to find meaning, maybe, or just express something regardless of the past?
Could you ever call that redemption? Or is it just another facet of a deeply flawed person finally looking inward as the end approached?
A profound thought to leave you with.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into more cases like this one, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like the video if you found the story compelling, and share it with your friends and family who might be interested in true crime and mysteries. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with all our latest content and join a growing community of curious minds exploring the most fascinating cases. Click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything.